Доброго дня, шановні колеги. Ми продовжуємо.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We continue the work in Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. I'm Valentin Pogachov. I'm a moderator of the project Spokesperson of Peaceful Life. And today our topic for discussion is Armiya FM starts broadcasting in Mariupol, UCMC project Spokesperson of Peaceful Life. Broadcasting for the liberated and occupied territories is extremely important, and currently it is covering a big territory in the east of Ukraine. And yesterday it was launched. It launched its broadcasting in Mariupol. We have Mr. Kostin and Mr. Makukhin, and later Miss Yana Kholodna will join us via Skype, who is director of the military Central TV and radio studio in Mariupol. Oleksiy, would you please comment for how long had you been waiting for launching this broadcasting in Mariupol, and how difficult it was to get FM band in Mariupol for broadcasting? For us, it's a big event. We started our work in Mariupol on March 1st. Before that, we used to work only in 3 centers, and Armiya FM is the military radio. This is official radio station organized by the Ministry of Defense, and we have Lieutenant Colonel Miss Yana Kholodna, who is not producer, but actually the officer of the Ministry of Defense responsible for this Armiya FM radio. Within the last 2 weeks, we managed to launch broadcasting in 2 very important, strategically very important locations in Mariupol and Volnovakha. Mariupol is the biggest city among all our coverage. There is a big number of military men, of servicemen in Mariupol. Answering your question about license for broadcasting and FM bands, we started the process back in February 2016, and we have got all our 6 licenses within this period of 10 months. But actually, we found out that the speed of getting licenses is rather good enough. Am I right when I understand that in Mariupol now you work in testing mode? No, for listeners, it's not testing mode. For listeners, it's normal functioning. We won't change our frequency 89.5 and 86.4 in Volnovakha. So for listeners, there will be no difference between testing mode and regular mode of operation. Could you please add in what other cities and towns along the contact line you could be seen? We are in Kramatorsk, Bakhmut, Kostiantynivka, and Pokrovsk. Also, we know that our radio station are retranslated in more two towns in Счастье and Novotoshkivka by local radio stations. Another question, maybe for expert. You could be heard in Mariupol in the suburbs. How you measure those suburbs where you could be seen, where you could be heard? This is actually a really more technical issue. The quality of broadcasting and the broadcasting range depends on the landscape and the quality of equipment. I would suggest that the range of coverage is some 30 kilometers around Mariupol. By the way, Yana, whom we expect to have via Skype, it is now attending the front line not far from Mariupol, and because she wishes to test whether there is broadcasting along the front line far away from Mariupol. Anatoly, the question to you, what are the biggest problems with broadcasting in ATO areas of today? Oleksiy is right. In general, getting the license for FM band is quite a cumbersome procedure. You apply to the National Commission on Communication, then this National Commission applies for FM band to the special state center, then state center coordinates this with the military, and then this band is allocated, then it comes in back direction, and later when the FM band is allocated, it is awarded to some radio station, not obligatory to the same which applied for it. With our broadcasting, we follow different procedure. We just apply for FM band to the general staff. General staff awards us with these bands, not for permanent use or for permanent license, but for temporary use and temporary license. This allows us to speed up the allocation, the frequency band allocation process. Within the last 18 months, due to this procedure, special procedure, more than 70 different frequency bands were allocated to the military broadcasters in the country. You might heard that the Commission on National Communication and Broadcasting recently was reshaped under the Minister of Information. Mr. Oleksiy Makukhin is chairman of this commission. All the strategic issues related to broadcasting in the ATO area are to be resolved by the special commission. During the last 18 months, we did quite a lot to allocate frequency bands, to build up new broadcasting towers in Kherson Oblast, for example, at the border, administrative border with occupied Crimea. We managed to do this quite successfully. Now, along the contact line, we have new towers and open new broadcasting. 2 days ago, we just finished the project of launching broadcasting at the checkpoints. These are the very important points for broadcasting because a lot of people pass via checkpoints, for example, in Zaitsevo, in Mayorsk, in Stanitsa Luganska. In Stanitsa Luganska, it will be launched very soon. In Novotroitsk, in Mayorsk, the frequency is 96.5 FM. Armiya FM appeared quite recently, and it has been working rather successfully. I like very much that pressure that is made upon the institutions which have to support this broadcasting. I'm sure that Armiya FM should very quickly enter all the checkpoints. It is not very powerful. It's just like 30 watts, which allows to cover not more than 5-10 kilometers range around the checkpoint. But from technical point of view, this is very convenient format in a situation of the war, and when you need to provide information at a very limited territory. As of today, Armiya FM has to work along the contact line in the military units which are deployed there, and not just in the future, it will be not just along the contact line, but it will be everywhere where in the territory of Ukraine where Ukrainian troops are deployed. Currently, we are developing the map where those technical points for translation will be located. We still do not have any connection with Miss Yana, with Lieutenant Yana Kholodna, but instead we have the video movie. Armiya FM had started broadcasting on November 16th in Mariupol. We have Lieutenant Colonel Ms. Yana Kholodna, representative of the Ministry of Defense, attending this event. Welcome everybody to this presentation. I am Yana Kholodna. I'm representative of the Ministry of Defense, and I came here to launch this new radio project. The objective of our new radio station is to support Ukrainian army servicemen here. And the language policy in our radio will be rather flexible. We will allow both Ukrainian and Russian language, and Ukrainian and Russian language songs there. Now questions. Mr. Anatoly, not long ago in March this year, you informed us about the launch of Armiya FM project start, and would you explain the objective of this? object. This is the radio station which is established by the military for the military. But since we are FM radio, we keep in mind that our listeners are not just the servicemen, but there could be civil population too. As for the time, 70% of music, and some time is devoted for advertising. The music consists of into rock, pop, and folk musical trends, and half of it is of Ukrainian music, half of it is Western music. As for the programs between 7 and 10 a.m., we have the morning breakup program. Also, we have very popular program welcoming letter to the ATO area, and quite often we have useful programs, informative programs for servicemen.
Чи просто хочете поїхати у відпустку, чи запрошуємо когось з того забезпечення, хто пояснює, що ви маєте здавати, коли демобілізуєтесь, які ви маєте права, які ви маєте обов'язки. Багато ми запрошуємо військових героїв або таких людей, які є лідерами думок серед військових. Є програми.
So we invite people, military, opinion leaders, and from the very start, we made difference between programs that are broadcast during the day and during weekday and during weekends. And we have a lot of music, hit parade, comedy programs. Thank you very much, Oleksiy. We have several questions from Mariupol residents. Can we listen to this radio in occupied territories, and do you plan to broadcast in Avdiivka, Mariivka, Krasnogorovka, and so on? We are interested to provide this broadcasting in the occupied territories. It is impossible to build important infrastructure there, and there should be some antenna that should be placed on any building, and I'm sure that we will be able to do it. There are pilot projects that showed good quality of broadcasting, and this project will be realized, and this project was realized in Zaitsevo. We were helped by Ukrainian border guards and the Ukrainian Association of Broadcasting for Communities, and we are going to continue with this project in other locations. And the situation is difficult in occupied territories, and we need high towers in controlled territories near the front line. I saw even that the tower was 300 meters from the line, and it is impossible to carry out works there because it threatens the lives of personnel. The main that we can do now for occupied territories is to provide access to Ukrainian channels through satellite. And in Crimea, there is no wall, and Donetsk, Lugansk, Sevastopol residents, they can watch Ukrainian channels through satellites, and we can provide information how to set the equipment to get the signal. So we hope that Ukrainian TV channels, they should be open, and you know that there are physics laws, and that telecommunication infrastructure in Soviet times was built in such a way that the highest towers are in Lugansk, Donetsk, and the best heights were seized by the militants. That's why it's difficult to broadcast in that area. We should cover those territories that are under control, and we will solve these issues to provide broadcasting to the occupied territories in the nearest future. Armiya FM can be heard through satellite. Maybe it's not easy, but there is such a possibility. So in occupied territories, it is difficult to broadcast there. I will add a lot of information, and I would like to say that now we are working to realize the project on middle wave broadcasting, and I hope that this question will be resolved soon. We have 549 kilohertz broadcasting to Crimea, and they provide Radio Liberty, Gramatska, and others, and we believe that these frequencies will allow to provide information to occupied territories in the south and east, and here physical laws do not prevent us from this. And also, do you have questions? Sergei Malerchuk, Ukraine Crisis Media Center. Tell us, please. Are there any attempts to jam the broadcasting by the enemy? Because we know that they have technical means in order to do this. And the second question, do you have plans to transfer or to double these radio programs to provide them in online regime through internet? The first question, yes, they try to jam, to create obstacles, and I believe that we should create obstacles for and jamming for those signals that come out of Donetsk and Lugansk, and it can be done. And because the signal from the dominant towers that are in Donetsk and Lugansk, they provide signal, and we should stop this signal. We should jam it. Because if we do it, our work will be of higher quality. The same is about Crimea. Armiya FM is on the internet from the first day. First, it was provided through the internet, different platforms. One of them, we were there from the start. Svoyeradio.com, and thus you can listen to the radio in the United States and throughout the world. So We understand the situation in the occupied territories because my family is in the occupied territory. Yes, we deal with these issues and these projects that we cannot comment on. Now the work is on the way to realize some of experimental things that will allow us to cover this uncontrolled territories. Thank you. Do you have other questions? Please ask. If there are no questions, so the last question from me to Oleksiy. How many people joined this project, and what is the amount of people now? What is it, what about the staff of the Army radio? It is the same, so 9 people. And you know, we have many people who work for our radio. These are journalists who work part-time, and some of them are volunteers. For example, Andrei Kulikov. There are also technical stuff. And also there are people who work for us, so it is difficult to identify the exact number of people, maybe several tens of people. Thank you very much. This is the end of press briefing. Unfortunately, Yana couldn't join us, and we hope that she will join next time. And the next program, the Spokesman of Peaceful Life, will be at the same time next week. Thank you.